All right, and Reverend Sirs, and Upasaka, Upasika, and friends. Okay, good evening. So, as usual, I'd like to express first I will be very happy because this will be my last talk in this retreat. And I also have to apologize because I think the last two talks and the first talk I was trying to maybe speaking something to me at least is a little bit, maybe at least to my understanding a little bit too deep. And then the second talk is just like a story, you know. But I hope that that you can, if you have time, you know, you can just listen again, might be helping, I don't know. Because the first thought I was just basically trying to emphasize on actually what you want to, especially when you talk about a practice in Buddhism, whatever you want to discuss and, you know, argue and debate. You know, when I was in university, and this is how we often do, and then when you write, when you do the master, when you do the research and PhD, this is how you always have to, because you must have a critical thinking, right? And yeah, it actually is very, very important, and also it sharpens our mind thinking, and not only sharpen our mind thinking, it helps us also become accept many opinions, you know, because if we don't have the chance to discuss things with people or from different traditions, different ideas, or even within the same tradition, different opinions, then sometimes, you know, you would not listen, but you have to learn how to be open-minded just by discussing, I guess that's, but then I think the first talk, what I want to say is that even though that's important, but still we need to recognize what is actually the main core of the Buddhism teachings is about. So, and I think at least this is I believe that what I found is like that, but and also based on some teachings and the text say that yeah, the main core actually is, you know, is how you really safeguard your mind. You know, is the basic thing, and how you really understand the mind is the most important thing. How you can let your mind to be tame your mind, and then with that mind, how you can able to be develop even further to, you know, to gain the wisdom. So anyway, that was what I'm trying to say, and lots of it might be sometimes when we look at this direction, so it might be will help us to save time, not just only doing that way, but just to save time for us to look at what really the essence of the Buddhism is about. Okay, and then the second talk, of course, because I was really tired, and because it just tell the story myself a little bit, which usually I don't like to tell something about myself. Lots of people ask me the story. Have you ever had a girlfriend before? You know, and trust me, people try many ways. You know, many ways. They really wanted to know whether I have a girlfriend before.
You're married.
I'm not interested to tell about my story, but sometimes I do say about myself. Not the reason why I talk about myself is I have to be very careful, because I know, especially in Chinese, I don't know how about the West, because I didn't grow up in the West, you know, like the Western culture. Even though I learned English and later I know something, I couldn't claim that I know. So, but at least I was brought up at like more like the Asian and Chinese environment. So at least the way that I brought up, I definitely know. Sometimes the way that you talk too much about yourself, people think that you are very arrogant also. That's the reason I had to be very, yeah, it's it's very different culture. And people think that you're arrogant, you're trying to promote yourself. So, and it's true also, because lots of time if you talk about yourself, and especially if you talk about yourself, how good you are, of course, then it's kind of like that. That's why I need to be very careful. But every time when I need to talk about myself, I need to check all the time, very constantly. See, am I have a proud? Am I trying to promote myself? You know, but But however, don't forget, even though I try my best, it doesn't mean I won't. It could leak out this promotion also, promoting. But I want to say the main thing is I did try very hard. But as I say, the culture sometimes is very troublesome too, because especially when I had to address the people here with different culture. And I definitely know if I only talk to our Chinese people, I would never talk this way, But because since we have so many different culture, and then I need to think which way I need to talk. But some other culture, even though you are very humble and try to make it less, but people still think, you are, because the opinion is really strong. So that's the reason. I know, unless I'm sure that some people who are Chinese, they might be more agree to me. Do you think, is it correct? Mostly, I don't mean all, right? You don't forget you are not very Chinese. Okay, I'm joking. Anyway, but actually the story, what I want to say is I also trying to just depict that everyone struggle during their practice. So even though something will benefit to your life, you still struggle, because mostly the struggle comes from you have a certain concept earlier time, in your mind, and that always like a string or rope would pull you. So even you might be go to in a quite good direction, and then because a certain concept and they pull you out and pull you out. Of course, and then how you can make a judgment, because you also cannot say sometimes when you have a concept that is always wrong, right? So how can you make a judgment? And this is what I try to emphasize, just for your guide for reference. I don't mean that you really have to believe me, but I'm talking in this sincere way, just like this is my experience. You can sometimes go for that direction and look for it. This is because I also struggle, right, in those days. And I believe I try my best to study. I believe I try my best to do meditation. And I believe that's the reason why in those days I travel here and travel there. And also I like cultural things. That's the reason why I live here, this country, and live that country, because I want to know the culture. I try my best, also come up to a kind of answer to me. But then the funny thing is that, and one of the answers that come to me is sometimes it's like what I said, when you learn like a meditation, which always talk in Buddhism, and if you learn something is very useful for you and settle your mind, and then you learn that thing that settle your mind that will help you actually to settle many problems and helping other people. So actually that should be regarded as the most important, than rather you have many ideas because this is what, basically we have to be really down to earth to be very practical. It doesn't mean that you cannot learn other things and study things. You study, you learn, but still you must know what is actually really the matter the most, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. And even though I forgot to mention one thing, but I need to say that unless because it's recorded already. The idea one is that will be ended. Even though yesterday talk I say I have the little idea about afterward I've been practicing and study the Pali Buddhism, and then I may have some idea about Mahayana later on. But then of course then after certain time goes by also I don't have any idea. In other words, I don't hold any opinions like, oh, this is good or this is bad. I don't. So, and it's interesting enough is when you don't hold whether this is a small vehicle or big vehicle, when you don't have this idea, you can really see much better pictures to you. Okay. The same thing like if I don't think I'm just a Chinese, and because I'm a Chinese, so that I always look at the way that as a Chinese to look at the Western, like an American, say not the Chinese, say not the American Chinese, but the American Caucasian American, or what. So sometimes, of course, you cannot always put away the idea as the identity of a Chinese. That's a problem. But we have to learn to put it aside so that you can see what's the common thing about so-called a human, a person is about. Okay. Anyway, now let me just today, I was asked to say the talk always is giving me a trouble. What should I talk? Because if I'm going to teach in Chinese, I usually in Taiwan I have print on many things. This text say this text say that, the text say how to practice this, the text say how to practice that. But you see, when I'm giving talk here, there's none of the paper. Because maybe, actually I like this more, I prefer this, because when I print out all these texts to prove this, to prove that, it's almost like I'm going to defend myself. Say that, oh, what I'm teaching, you have a proof in the text, right? And didn't prove in the text. And at first I thought it might be very useful. That's how I usually did in Taiwan. But then later I find no, because people maybe when they listen to that, actually, especially unless they're really specialized, then later on this is just a garbage. They would throw that away. So and that's one thing. Not because they throw it away, it's fine. The important thing is I find when we practice meditation. Especially we have mostly are the layperson here, including monks also. At first I always say because of layperson, but now I have to say everybody. It's that why we have to practice meditation. We have few things to, we forget, we compare to put away. What kind of, I don't care whether you're Christian, you're a Muslim, right? You are the Buddhist, or what kind of Buddhist you are. You know that I'm sure even Christian has so many different types of Christian, or you're the Catholic. It's not my business, right? I had to think, if Buddhism only just teach to Buddhists, okay, especially this method, then I would be questioning Buddha sometime, actually. But we believe that if the Buddha is the most compassionate one and most loving one, right? So he has to be able to teach something for everyone. So, and I'm not here to say something very high, but at least everyone that we would find the benefit. And this is, I think this is how I understand it later on, that when I give a talk, I like to come to this approach. I mean, some talk maybe is much useful for the purpose of, what is the main purpose of practice this method? Is because regardless what religion you are, but you find them is very useful in their life, okay? And also, that also actually interesting. According to the Buddhist ideology also, when someone, they attend the Sotapanna, mean the stream enter, mean become the first level of really the sainthood, they will never fall back as what we call a mundane person. And this person actually, he will have one of the characteristics comes to them. That is, the stream enterer will be the person very respect other people believe their own religion. Okay, that is interesting. So, you don't get what I mean? Or maybe, sometimes I question my English now. It means that a stream enterer actually, he has one of the characteristics is, he will be really respect other people who have their own religion. Of course, definitely he knows that Buddhism is one of them, will make him become a stream enterer, but he respect, really truly respect. So in other words, you could read it this way. The person, as a stream enterer, I'm not going to talk about Buddha, it's too high for me, okay? And also the Arahant is also too high for me. I'm just saying that like a stream enterer, so or even the Sakadagami. So they will be really, when the people have their own religion and practices, they also respect. But of course they may give some advice and ask them to be a better person, you know. This is, actually this kind of understanding makes me really encouraging me. So put it this way, that I think my approach just to be giving the talk about or giving the direction is about how to benefit humankind is more important, you know. Okay, they might have many proofs. Now let me just forget that, leave that aside at the moment. Now, usually when we practice meditation, certainly one thing is that what it is meditation can do for me. Okay, this is how is a very practical question. It is not something is like a fantasy. So like I do meditation, I will look lean, I look beautiful, maybe help you that way, I don't know. But we are here now, we have to really think what is really the down-to-earth meditation can do for me. That's one thing. And of course, as a religious aspect, not only that, what if someone, what that means, say I, because I don't want to waste my time, and I want to do meditation, and maybe yes, I know that meditation is good for me, but then the next thing is that, how about when I die? Is meditation good for me when I'm about to die? So there are two things. You know, always religion was have to. One big part of religion is always about the death, right? Because humans always fear about that. Not that we don't want to be dying, it's also where we are going, what happens when we are dying. So I like to use this approach to talk today, okay? No matter what kind of meditation method you're learning, always a meditation will help you feel nice. There's no doubt, okay? And the most common method that we know is the breath meditation on the breath. And of course, some teachers certainly highly emphasis on the importance of that, because meditation on the breath also will help you to gain enlightenment, you know, and it's a unique way, and also anyway, there are so many explanations about that, you know. So I'm not going to, and also please also understand when I say this, I'm not here to say the breath meditation is what, but it's important, like, since I'm here to to talk about the Four Supply Abiding meditation, so I only focus on the Four Supply Abiding meditation. I usually really encourage people to start with learning the Four Supply Abiding meditation, because it is a method. I find it's very practical to our life, okay? Look at our life in general. What is the thing that troubles us the most? Anger, unhappy, or you could say dissatisfied, right? But you know that unhappy, the anger, and dissatisfied are immediately related to, from a Buddhist concept, mean from the root of the anger. Okay. And this is thing you can avoid. Can you? It's even though how much you try to avoid. Let's say you don't want to stay with the people, because most of the time we get most anger actually other people. So most of the time, let's say those people have a pets, they know that, right? If you have a pets like the cats or the dogs, the dog can mention around your house. You might just get a little anger, but you will forget it, right? But if a person go to mention around your house, you will get angry also, but you don't forget it, right? So this is one of the interesting things that happen in our life, and in other words, we have to be accept. We don't need to deny that we bound to get angry, because you're bound to meet something that will dissatisfy you, right? I did think about that. I did try that also, and sometimes I think, oh, I don't want to stay with the people. And of course, the more people you have, the more you get dissatisfied, because everyone is different. You have one different, you deal with one. Two different, you deal with two. Three different, you deal with three. 10 different, you deal with 10. You know, so imagine, especially you have to stay with them all the time. You know, it's not like, like if you go to office, you go to work, right? And then when you have the office time gone, and you also have an excuse, don't talk to me, I'm in office now, I just don't want to do my job. Maybe you just browse your computer and internet. But when you live together, it's not like that. It's not just work. It's more like even this little detail here and there. Even just a little detail, the toilet is not clean. And you don't have the toilet paper, right? So small thing, right? And that it could be get you, what? How can that happen, right? So all these sometimes you fed up and you think, oh, you need the best to live by yourself. So I did also try a little bit, stay by myself, you know. And if you stay by yourself, and then you also have another problem comes to you. Basically, the same thing will happen is mean you don't feel happy, you don't feel satisfied, right? And I also remember the same thing like in those days I used to love the snow, right? When the snow was so beautiful, you feel so calm. But then later, now snow, especially now I'm lucky, I don't have to do that job. But in those days when I was in Boston, I had to do that job. You need to shovel again. So all this, we definitely, from Buddhism, we must be able to find a solution, right, to solve that. Not, of course, solving is not, don't snow, okay? And you know, this is a nature, and at the same time, snow is a nature, but also we also know some people need the snow to earn money also. If I ask them not to snow, what happened? Some people have no job, right? And you are also become an evil person, right? So it's a nature of the snow. So basically, slowly you will understand, people have delusion, people can be very bad, people are what? It's nature. Otherwise they would be not here. They are here because they all are selfish. They all wanted something good for themselves. They also can be ignorant. They all sometimes can get angry. They all have this problem. So, and what made me to be better than them? No. Because if you look at myself, I sometimes do the same thing. Maybe I'm more refined. You know what I mean by refined, right? Much more refined. So I have the same thing. Maybe I have control a little better. Or maybe I, due to my past experience, not past life, I mean the past experience, and I maybe know how to deal with the thing in a better way. But if you look at down to earth, it's the same thing. So now, but even this same thing happened to me. It's not like, okay, it's same thing. So if it will be evil, I will be evil. If it be anger, I will be more anger. You know, if you want to play tough to me, I will play more tough, right? I did that also, actually. When I was younger, that's how I did. You score me once, I score you 10, right? Yeah, I did that. And you want to show you're angry, you bang the door. Once, I bang twice. Bang, bang, not one, you know. So why I want to do that? It's because I thought that was the correct way, and I thought that would help me to feel better. And I thought that would be the way that then the people will be submit to you, and then you will feel better. Okay, you know, that's how I did it in the past also. But of course, now I'm old now, very old, getting older and older. And actually I quite regret, why did I have to do this? And why did I do that? So, and what happened is, we need to back to this. He said that's the only way we do because it doesn't sound, I don't know how about the other person, like even the people angry and I also angry back. I don't know whether that will be helping the other. But I know myself, not working. Very, very clear, it's not working. And also, I also know that even I have to also do a little like more or less like a confession. So like even sometimes my poor father, okay, sometimes my father meet me. I usually quite okay, but my poor father, when my father says one word wrong, I say, you. So that's why my father say, oh, sometimes I don't want to stay with Dhammadeva. When we go anywhere, if I ask my father, say, do you want to come with me? No. And I don't complain to any other person, you know. But if my father make a little mistake, I will say, now you see, you make that mistake again. I told you already, you don't do this. You see? And then my father say, okay. Then I say, no, it's not okay. And because the first few times when I met my father, just my father react, and then I become react the same again. But then up to, actually funny part is up to a point, then one day, because my assistant, you know, monk, he asked my father, say, oh, we are going someplace. Do you want to go with us? Then my father say, is it Dhammadeva going? Of course, he didn't ask that in front of me. But he told my assistant and then he said, yeah, we three go together. He said, no, I'm not going. But then I said, what? He said that? So, and then, I said, okay, then you go to ask my father. So the Dhammadeva is not going. Do you want to come with me? Then he did follow my instruction and go to ask my father. Say, yeah, Dhammadeva say he don't want to go. He doesn't want to go. Do you want to come with me? Of course, I want to go. And then I suddenly felt like, oh, you know, he's my father. Actually, he's very nice father. But he's just, and and I just feel like very sorry. Actually, suddenly I feel very sorry. Like, you know, yeah, I sometimes try to be very nice to some people, but how did I react to my father? Not really horrible. Don't misunderstand. It's not like scolding, but I always like become really like how to say 管家叫什么? Anyway, somebody really critical, you know. Oh yeah. So and I really that time this is also one thing. Then what I did is that, of course, I do the loving kindness meditation. Not my father, myself, because I'm not happy. My father abandoned me, and because he didn't want to go, that was really hurt me, you know. That's why I just, may I be free from anxiety. And then, of course, sometimes I think, what is my bad karma? Why is it like that? And then, but only when after then I also do meditation with my father. I appreciate my father is not happy because stay with me. So I just meditate with my father and say, may you be out of the suffering. And then I start to realize that, what I want to say is the important, then I start to realize that, yeah, so if I show my, like a kind of unhappy mind to criticize my father, certain thing, even it's not a big, to me it doesn't seem like really anger, a big deal. But it's not doing good for him, right? And actually, ultimately, it's never good for me at all. Never. So, but of course, my reason still tell me, I did say the good thing. I did say the right thing. So, and I struggle with that. So I did say the good thing, I did say the right thing. So, and then I still have to use may I be free from it. Because when the struggle, your mind getting tough again. No, I did say the right thing, and you get a little agitated, you know. No, I did say the right thing, I said the good thing. Then I also use, may I be happy, you know. So, and then only when I calm down, and I still think that, I still contemplate what happened, and of course I still remember, what did I say, when did I say, how did I say, when did it start, you know, somehow like that. I need to face it, not that I want to abandon it. And so, at least, I come to the conclusion, as I say, I'm not going to say that in the detail, but I come to the conclusion that, no. You see, even if we have the anger mind, it will never really do good, you know. Of course, every time when I told my father, you know, don't speak like this, don't do this way, don't do that way, okay. That moment when I say this, I'm not happy already. That I know very well, okay. And especially when I see that my father doesn't listen to me. Of course, I got my, you know, I told you many times. I told you yesterday, right? And so, and this kind of example, really just, it can happen to anywhere, and to any person. But I'm saying that somebody especially close to you, you can be easily, maybe in my language, abused, the thing. You can easily abuse it. So then I realized, I started actually abusing my father. So, because I'm angry and I abuse my father. So that's really think that, how ugly I can be. Look at my father. I know that. I don't want to be a father, myself, because if I were a father, imagine he had to spend the whole life, at least when I was young, right, to earn money for my education, to take care of me, to do many things, right? And now maybe he still has something I don't agree. So, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, what about all this year? He was worried when I was a kid, he was doing this and that. But where is my compassion? Where is my loving kindness? Even let alone to say I don't have time to accompany him, but where is it? So that's how, and slowly. When I say slowly, I mean I really later on, I really have to accept this is the thing that I have to really, what I want to say is that the force of mind-body meditation, I should always really help me to be better, and then really have to settle down my anger issue. My anger issue, I don't mean that it's a big anger issue. It's not, I don't have the big anger issue, but really even a small thing there. But why can't I just, if I don't disagree, why I can use the compassionate mind first, and then with the compassionate to tell them. But why cannot sometimes I can use my loving kindness mind to do it? Sometimes I don't agree when the people are laughing and happy, which I think is horrible thing, right? Why cannot I just take their happiness? I still know this is, at least to me, might be not the correct thing, but I still can correct them. Why cannot I do that? So this is, among all this method, I'm not going to say something very advanced, but in the meditation, I don't think that any method will be better than this, the force of mind-body method. Because it's a method you can practice when you talk to people, and then at the same time, even though you cannot do it simultaneously while you're talking and with the loving kindness mind towards a person, but you at least, when you have a pause, you still can do that, right? When you're talking or when the people are talking, keep doing the talking, and then you just send them the loving kindness mind. May they be well and happy. And that actually that way will helps you. Not only you stay focused and have a very nice peaceful mind, it also actually makes you become wiser also. You will not be stirred up emotionally. The same thing when the people when you meet a person when they're in a sad, or whenever you go, you see the sad people, or when the people talking to you, say they're sad, or when they're suffering either because of physical or mental, you can do the compassion meditation. So, and then give you the same result. You feel not anger, but you feel what is calm, and you feel very fulfilling also. And at the same time, actually, you also have a very good response to the person, right? So, of course, as I say, another case is which is a lot of family in the past that told me this. You know that people have different value judgment, right? But it's very hard to keep that. Like, for example, in our time, we always thinking that people going to play computer too long is bad person. Yeah. Okay. This is maybe difficult. Maybe say the easier one. In old time, usually we think that, we worry that, like in my time, if I tell my parents, oh, father or mother, I want to go out to play. No, study. This is how our education. So we always not allowed to go out, always stay indoor. Because if you go out, they will presume that you will maybe with a bad friend, and the bad friend will teach you to learn all the bad things, right? They don't allow you to go out. Now sometimes maybe change a little bit. I don't want to go out, I want to stay in the computer. You ask them, no, you go out. Right? So it's definitely nothing to do with the out It's basically how you understand the thing. Now, I remember in those days when somehow we sneak away, like we go to swim, we play basketball, we just ride a bicycle. I didn't ride bicycle a little bit. But anyway, so you come back very exciting. Oh, Mom, today I found something and or whatever. Then, because the mother didn't like them to go out already. So when they come back, long face there already. Sometimes in the earlier time, the kid usually didn't know how to deal with that. They only think, I'm so happy. If I tell you something happy, you must be very happy. So that's why the kid will come to nagging with you, telling you the happy thing. Of course, the kid knows you're not happy as a mom, but they want to tell this. But then, if we don't have the joy meditation, we'll say, "Shut up! Why you want to tell me this thing? I told you not to go out. Why you want to go out?" And that actually it's also, it become. Then later on, long time, the trust will go, because then the kid, especially they are not adult, they don't know how to deal with this. They only learn that, okay, my mom didn't like me when I'm happy. Not that they didn't God. My mom don't like to see me happy, because he thought when I'm telling you happy, you will be happy, but not. So, and they will come to that also wrong way of thinking, of course. But now we must understand they are children. They don't understand that. So, and how we can solve the problem is, of course, if we can practice joy meditation. Okay. I think the last time I did say that example. In our time, every man would try to learn how to smoke. I don't know nowadays. Now it's nothing smoking. Now they smoke something else now. But in our time, right, it's every man, because we have to blend America. The America always have the very cool, of course I'm a Brahmin, very cool advertisement, handsome man or cool man with the smoke, cigarette on the hand. So Marlboro, yeah, something like that. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to do advertisement. But, basically something like that. So, but this is actually, there's a reason why we look at, when I remember very well, even including myself, I didn't smoke, but actually my uncle did give me this, because my uncle smoked. So I learned a little bit and just smoked a little. And, but my father found it. So I was, sometimes you're unlucky. You just, first time you're learning and you're being found. It happened also. My father found that, and then my father was sad. Be careful, don't let your mom see that, okay? So, okay. And I can see the different reaction. But look at it, because of that, at that time I knew that when I was young, sometimes when I did this thing, I only can tell my father, not my mom, because my mom might be, I don't know how my mom reaction, but I just, don't want to. But I'm saying this, why it's like that, we need to explain that. It's because when somebody did something like this, if somebody not get mad to you, but just maybe giving you good advice, okay, but with the mind, not anger, you don't feel the threat. So somehow actually I think you can listen better, okay, you can listen better. So this is one thing that we need to know when we practice the force of light body meditation. We always have to learn, how to use it all the time. Like, when you get defeated, what is your protector? So some people, of course, have been trained, when they get defeated, maybe some people do the prayer, right? Some people do in the chanting, some people do what? But I want to say that something that can protect your life, that you can be a really good person, and then would not let the anger, and would not let the anger would disturb you. Especially, you will develop a very good concentration to help you to have a better life. I think this is a method, almost like the four guardians. In Chinese way of saying the four guardians is always helping you to have a very powerful life, and very happy life, and then also understandable life. And actually, not only this, if you practice more and more, you will find we don't find, no matter what color you are, no matter what kind of the religion you are, what kind of walks of life you are, whether you were the bad person, you were the good person, but we do share something similar, okay? Now, the important thing is we all have something similar. The something similar is not only the good side, even the bad side. But only difference is when we have this meditation or concentration, we are much easier or much able to tackle the problem. Not only just being by tackling the problem, we gain much more understand, that's what we call wisdom, that how this problem comes and what actually is the main thing we need to solve. Okay? I guess this is the direction I like people to aware. And also, you can practice this in any time, anywhere, when there is a living thing there. Even there's no living thing there, you can practice you are the living thing, right? You can practice yourself. So anytime, you're in a very busy place, you feel so noisy, and then you can practice your meditation to all people there. When you're in any isolated place, you are yourself, you can practice meditation to yourself, right? So you find that that's why we have a simile from Buddhist text say, when you know this method, so you're getting very powerful because you get to know more people, okay? You know, when you get to know more people, you get so many, somehow you understand the life, the meaning of life, the purpose of life. And also, you also have the most beautiful garden yourself. You always can visit the garden nicely. You know, in other words, so this kind of force of life, body, mind will help you to really, really understand the people, and then like travel with them, understand them well. Okay. Now, I think actually today I also like to ask someone to give a little story about what his experience and his wife experience. Before that, I want to also mention, so this method, of course, is not only ended this way only. You can be develop it much more powerful by you can have the even more, according to the Buddhist ideology, is that you can have a deeper samadhi. Because I don't think that sometimes not only the method itself will help your life, but if you want to go further, then you can also develop a very strong samadhi, like what we call the jhana, or even at least you have a very good foundation of jhana. The question is, why we need this good foundation of jhana? Maybe not sometime. Yeah, because we know in theory, because when you have the good foundation of jhana, your mind will be even much easier to focus, right? Yes, maybe you had to take more time, to gain it. But sometimes you have to value yourself. Whether do you want to spend more time to have a better jhana so that you have much easier focused mind to deal with the thing, or you don't want to, of course.
Tell what jhana is.
Yeah, no, so it's very hard to explain what jhana is, but I just want to say, so it's a kind of foundation of state of mental, the mind. Okay, but another thing which I like to to say is, if we are going to die, maybe you don't care, I care, okay? Because I know that one day I'm going to die, and you never know when I'm going to die. Let me tell one story. Sometime when I'm on the airplane, okay, when the airplane will start to turn like that, so you think, okay, the plane maybe drop. Okay. Of course, many people have many experience. I give you a little story. When I was in Russia, actually, that time. When I was in Russia, it was 1996-7. From Vladivostok, I'm going to fly to Moscow. Because that time, anyone knows Russia, they know. That time, the Russians suddenly, the money plunged so much, right? I forgot how much the conversion. I bring the dollar to go there. It was almost, I can use the dollar triple time, or more than double times as the normal conversion rate, right? Anyway, I just want to say that that time, Because the flight from the Vladivostok to the Moscow, it was on the sky, and they cannot land down because of the heavy wind. And the interesting is the Russian flying is really like a warplane, I think. But the plane was, So we were on the sky more than 2 hours supposed to land. And, and then, of course, ultimately you cannot land on the Moscow airport and then go out of the airport. I cannot remember now, but that's another story. But the funny part is, I was there, I was really calm. I'm not, again, I boast myself, okay? I was really, because that time I always do, when I was in Russia, every time I just do meditation. You know why I do meditation? Because I was unlucky, go with few people, always trouble. And I need meditation not to be into trouble. I was really very calm. I think that was maybe one of the, when I traveled, maybe the most calm time I had. There were many reasons why, I don't want to explain that now. But one reason definitely because there were few guys, my students, they were really trouble. So not trouble with me, trouble with other people. So I need to stay really calm, not to feel disturbed. So, but you could see that time is the first time I can see the airplane, everybody is so devoted. Well, you know the Russian way, they have that rosary. Oh, lots of old lady. And including my friend, they were really praying the Buddha all the time. And actually we thought really the airplane would fall. One other thing I want to say, you know why we thought that? You know, this is the superstition comes to our mind. Before we land on the, before we ascend into the plane, you know, enter the airplane, there were a claw, you know, the crows was stand on that. Wah, wah, wah. You know, the Chinese believe that it's a sign of death, you know. Huh? No, the airplane, when we enter, 就是我们登机之前嘛, yeah, no airport, on the plane. The plane will land. It was standing, wah, wah, wah. So anyway, so that's actually that's what I think is now back to this. I have many death experience. One of the is I thought I'm going to die at that time, so I thought I'm going to. I really focus my meditation. Why I do that is because at least the Buddhist theory say this way. Say that when someone about to die, right? When someone about to die, actually, so you will be able to. You might have this kind of experience about your past experience. What happened, like maybe you meet a nice person and then maybe you go to temple, or maybe then you see something about your bed. So those sides will come to you, you know, as if like some people doing meditation. So some side will come to you. And then based on those sides, and then you might be arise a good mind or bad mind. When you see you're doing good thing, you're happy. When you see a bad thing, you're sad. So, and they are the one really become a crucial thing to change your way of looking the life. So unfortunately, if the last thing you will see was like the bad thing, then you maybe have a very sad mind. It is said you will be born in a very woeful place, not a good place. But however, you also can use your own mind, because this thing even happen. You could actually still do like doing a loving kindness meditation and so on, this kind of meditation, to change it, just like when we have many thoughts, right? When the thought comes to you. So, and then you just want to change it, and then you forget about the thought, you still do something else. Like, say that if you do loving kindness, and then you just change the loving kindness, and then it only appears to something very nice to you. And supposedly your meditation is very good, and of course then you become like a light, white light, okay? And then it's believed that if you want to born to a certain place like heavens or what, and then you could just, with that, and get your thing like, you know, that I want to be go there, something like this, and then they will appear. So, in other words, having this samadhi, like this, force of life abiding, it's one of the way that it will helping you, it's according to Buddhist way, that if you want to born to a good place like the heavens, so actually you could use this technique on the verge of dying and make that become, not to let any distraction comes to you, but make that the sign will appear and then you will be born, the place you desire to. So maybe this theory to some people maybe sound tempting, to some people maybe so I don't have to think about that. But let me tell you this, whether it is interested you or not, but I can tell one thing. This is how I always think about. For the religious sake talk, for the sake of religion, like Buddhism. If this is really working, okay? If this is really working, and if according to Buddhism believe that there are heavens, okay? If I'm saying or if, I don't say if then. And then the people know that they can do meditation that which is good their life, good for their life, and good for other people. At least have less problem and has less problem, right? If this really working and has less problem, what that will be? What that can be? The people will definitely love Buddhism more, because I myself met a lot of people in the past. They were Buddhist, okay, and then later they want to become believe in Jesus. Not that I completely disagree. You know what I'm saying that if this religion had Buddhism provide that already, that if you want to go to heavens, yeah, you can just do this way. Okay, that is whether it's working or not, I don't want to, because there's something about death, we don't know. They didn't come back and tell us, yes, I did go there. Fine. But at least all religions say that you can go here, go there. Right. But the thing it is, important is that we still can do meditation which is good for our life, good for everybody, good for relationship, good for family, good for the society. Right? It's clear. And this is not theory. You see it. And then if really true that this also will help you to go to heavens, and that actually is a very big, I know some people don't disagree with me, don't argue that with me, but I'm very clear. It's a very big comfort for a person. Okay? You know why I want to say, maybe some people want to argue with me, because I'm a Buddhist. Why do I want to go to heavens? According to Buddhists, always say that heaven is not permanent, you know? So, but unfortunately, let me tell you, and I met people in America who are the family were Buddhists and the children were not Buddhists, or even they themselves came here afterward. They don't want the Buddhism. None of them, of course, learned this method. But then these people actually always tell me one thing, that I want to go to heaven. And the Buddhism just asked me not to go to heaven, and I want to. You see. But the funny part is, actually during the Buddha's time, if you look at the story or whatever, the Buddha, only who doesn't want to go to heaven? Who? Any answer? During the Buddha's time, mostly who? Monks and nuns. Okay? Yeah. No, because that's why they become monks and nuns, because they wanted to devote their life, and then they practice, and then they want to really become arahant or cut off the reincarnation, of course, right? But how many, comparatively, there are many more layperson, but all these layperson mostly they just want to be born in a good place, right? But this I usually feel very sad, because when I meet people like, as I say, in America especially, in California and some other places, I feel very sad. It's okay if you want to choose to be other religion. I said it's not about their choice. The sad is about they completely mistaken the Buddhism in that way. Actually, Buddhism, there's no way the Buddhism say you cannot go to heavens. Okay, there's no way. Even though a lot of teaching teach the monks and nuns, you know, there was not the main purpose for that, but it never. So, and actually in the Buddhist text always say there are lots of debate also with the layperson who have believed in different heavens, but they don't know how to go. But then the Buddha teach this method, that you should use this method in order to be born there. Okay, and that's why I say it is another question. But the main thing is that if we have this, and then if the people can get benefit from it, what most of it is that they can live better life for us, even for me. Trust me, if all of you are practicing this method, for sure you and I sometimes disagree with each other. That's for sure, because we have different karma, right? But we can talk nicely. Like, out of compassion you talk to me, or out of compassion I talk to you. We can talk nicely. Because those who practice this method know very clear. We can never agree to each other, because that's how human is. But if you have this, just like, sometimes the way we behave, maybe put it this way, the worst case is the way we behave. Like sometimes you can behave nice because your parents are there, right? They're guardians, you behave better. Hi, how are you doing? Actually, if the parents are not there, right? So, like that. When you have these four sublime bindings there with you, if you have a deep samadhi, of course, you even don't need that. But when you at least you can imagine, just like there were people who are just around you, they are always nice to you, but when they are there, you behave nicer, right? Just imagine it that way. So, of course, if all of you are like that, we can do many things. The world will be better, the society will be wonderful. And the last thing, what I want to say is that, not only that, at least in Buddhist teaching, if you want to, and there are so many things afterward also, I'm not going to explain that, but so far, I want to say is that, at least, I give one example, is one instance is that, at least when somebody about to die, they still can be born to a good place. And of course, in Buddhist teaching, have a lot about how much benefit you can earn from it. I guess that would be sufficient for you to understand. Well, because day before yesterday, actually, one of the practitioners, David, he also told me about one of the story he has encountered about his wife because of practicing. I think this is my first time to thinking that I find the story very, very useful. So I would like if David just spend few minutes for us, and tell what that will be meaningful to you. Yeah. Just a moment. Yeah. Thank you.
So I guess I should clip this on. Is that close enough? Yeah? We're okay? Okay. A little over 2 months ago, my wife passed away after a very long illness. She died of cancer, 4th-degree cancer, after an 8-month struggle. We never thought she was going to pass away so quickly. She was only 60. And at her funeral, I spoke of the Brahma Viharas as the 4 immeasurables that supported us and her through the passages that we were going through over the course of 7 or 8 months. 4 stays in the hospital, the final stay only a few short days. And slowly but surely she passed away, and people were there to spend time with her over the course of the last 5 days especially. And basically she held court. Held court meaning that she supported everybody who came in on account of their suffering. She was there to help them as she was passing away, which was rather remarkable. So as we went through this period of, it's not really grieving, but celebrating the end of her life, we realized that she had, I did personally, she had the embodiment of the 4 Brahma Viharas. Then the one that she had the hardest time dealing with was the last one, equanimity. The first one, loving kindness, she had it full. Compassion, always. Holding people, helping people throughout their difficult moments in her final days. And obviously shared joy. She was joyous always with everybody. But the detachment from life, from her body, was that which she had to work with and struggle with, that she did and succeeded in her final moments. So we were there. I was witnessing the family, the friends, the colleagues. It was amazing. Everybody would come, and basically here she is on her final laps, her final moments, helping people deal with their grief. And I think the best way that I can explain and express what we all went through was reading a short poem that I wrote a few weeks later. This occurred around the 27th of October. I got an email from a number of friends over the course of the following weeks after her passing, and this one email struck me. It was a poem, and the poem led me to write a poem. And I think that will say everything that I think I need to say tonight. There were but a few days before the end of summer, sunlight shining bright through the window of her hospital room. Glorious moments, final moments, spent with me and our boys. The tenderness and compassion of her presence with us overwhelmed the remaining moments we were to spend together. Laughter, humor, silent moments spent with the dearest of people. How lucky we were to be there with her. She left us the following day. The advent of fall was in the air. The sun had left us this day. This her final day amongst us. The light of her soul was dimming. The grasp on life was releasing. She could leave us now. Tears notwithstanding, we knew it was time, since her time had come to an end. Silently, with great repose and detachment, she breathed her last breath in this lifetime she had been granted. The angels sang her departure with tears flowing in our broken hearts. Beloved wife, wonderful mother, and deepest friend, may you be well where it is deemed that you be next, a saint among saints. Thank you.
Okay, I will just take this opportunity, the last opportunity to thank you all of you guys coming to join this retreat as well. And of course also the support from our monastic members here. And then to uphold this, the retreat. We believe that when we have a time to stay together and practice something, I think is very useful for our life. And actually, to me at least, it's definitely useful. And all the time I know, if there's something not working very well, it's because these four guardians gone. Okay. So, and but I will be very happy that if that you will also have your own guardians, or you could say the angels. Okay, there are 4 angels there. So, and then you need to always try to keep these 4 angels with you, and that will make not only just better for your life and better for your family, and then they will definitely be better for the world. You know, we need this peace, we need this the compassion, we need this understandable, we need this wisdom, we need this respect. Okay, and we also need the care and love. So, and I would end of this talk, and as I say, I need to express this thank you for all coming here. Otherwise, we won't be running the meditation too. then I would be just stay in the forest and I just isolate and do meditation to myself. And at least I have a chance to meditate to you guys too. Yeah. Anyway, okay, then we will end the talk and thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and thank you for joining.